Here are 5 ways that teachers can use ChatGPT. These prompts are purposely very brief and simple. You can, of course, expand on them and provide as much detail as you'd like. These prompts will give you something to work with, but you'll still need to check the responses for accuracy and edit as needed. I typically begin my prompts by giving GPT a persona, in this case, an Australian educator. To create a lesson sequence, including student discussion questions, you can write, "You are an educator teaching an Australian Year 12 BC English class." Create a 5-week lesson sequence for the text, Station 11, adopt a constructivist approach. Once it provides a response, you can extend this further by including a prompt like, create questions for the lessons in week 1, including a think, puzzle, explore, thinking routine. To create a wellbeing lesson, you can write, create a detailed lesson plan for a 60-minute lesson. In this lesson, students need to learn about the dangers of vaping. When it creates the lesson plan, it sometimes refers to handouts or worksheets. You can get GPT to create these too by adding the prompt, create the handout. Chuck this into Microsoft Forms and you'll have an interactive worksheet where you can formatively assess your students. You can also add a prompt like outline the critical thinking questions and it'll give you something to work with. To provide feedback to students, give the prompt some context. So I've said the following paragraph is written by a student. They are analysing and comparing the 2 texts, the crucible and the dressmaker. I've then pasted in their paragraph. Underneath this, I've written, provide the student with 2 strengths and 2 areas for improvement. This should be listed in dot point form. This feedback should be succinct and written in a way that is easy for a student to understand. Provide precise sentence examples that help the student address the areas for improvement. In the feedback, instead of referring to the student, use you. It'll then create some feedback, and if you want these responses to be even more accurate, you can provide GPT with some exemplars. To create a student report, you can write, you're an Australian teacher writing a semester 1 report for a student. When writing the report, refer to the student as name. The responses should only be 1 paragraph in length. For this student, and I've listed their strengths, and then I've said the student can improve by ... And then it produces the report, which I can tweak as needed. For teachers in the early years, you can create song lyrics too. So I've got create a song that can be sung to the students. The song should include lyrics about ducks swimming in a pond. The ducks meet various other animals. The song should be silly. The language should be suitable for students who are age 5. Include chords above each line in the key of C major. It'll give you a nice, simple song. You can then ask it to provide questions that can be asked to the students after the song has been sung. In this case, I didn't love the type of comprehension questions that were being asked, so I wrote, make the questions more personal so that the students need to reflect on their own life, and that got me what I was after. Those are just 5 examples of how teachers can use ChatGPT. There are so many other ways it can be used, and I know there's been lots of discussion about this in recent weeks. I'm a massive advocate for AI and its role in the future of teaching and learning. I think if this or any other AI tool can be a catalyst for educators to value the process and stages of student learning rather than the end product, then there's a huge opportunity there. Be safe, be well, be kind, and I'll speak to you all soon.